Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock show, where each week we take a specific beer, crack it open, and savour the delights of finely crafted real ales. My name is Mark, and joining me from the county where in the Middle Ages more witches were reported than in Cornwall and Devon combined is my beer mentor Steve. G'day, mate.
Good evening, Mark. How are we doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you in the witch capital of the UK?
I'm good, thank you. I actually think half of them are still here, to be honest with you. It's a strong culture of witches.
Oh, it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
How's your week been?
It's been okay, thank you. And yours?
It's been hectic. I started my new job on Monday. And like I've been telling everyone who will listen, I've been completely overwhelmed. It's been my first new job in 6 years, so it's a bit of a shock to the system, you could say.
Yeah, you always need that settling in period, don't you?
Yeah. But that did mean leaving presents from my last job, one of which was a box of 6 or more, or possibly 8 bottles of beer from microbreweries in Sussex, which was quite cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that was from my boss.
Good haul.
Good man, yeah.
Yeah.
And one of which is, there's a couple of like 7%ers in there.
Ooh, big beers.
One's a Christmas ale that I'm going to be having at Christmas to knock me out till New Year's. But a few 3%ers in there as well, so that's cool. This week's featured beer is Punk IPA from Brewdog up in Edinburgh. We'll be getting to that in a little bit. Before we do that, Steve, what beers have you sampled in the last week?
I had a couple of Badgers. Mm-hmm. I had the England's Own, which was the one that I was saying to you a few weeks back that I was a bit unsure about because of the elderflower.
Yeah.
I found it quite a sweet beer, quite a refreshing beer, but there was certainly nothing wrong with it. And then I had the First Gold as well, which is another Badgers.
Yep.
I threw a London Pride in purely because I had one and I needed to get rid of it. And then there were a couple of others that I had as well that I now can't remember. I'll see if I can remember what the other ones were and come back to those ones.
Right.
They obviously were nothing special because I've not been able to remember them.
Yeah.
Oh no, actually, what am I going on about? I had a ghost ship, the first ghost ship.
That's forgettable.
Yeah. No, not at all. I had a ghost ship, and I had a Screech Owl IPA by the Castle Rock Brewery, which was again one of the beers I picked up on the Great British Beer Hunt at Sainsbury's.
What was that?
And that was quite nice.
That
was quite very hoppy.
You do like your IPAs?
I do like my IPAs, and I also had the Drunk the Brains Barry Island IPA, which I'm going to be feeding back on for my personal assignment this week.
Yeah. For me, beer-wise, it was my leaving do last week, so I got taken to the student bar at the place I worked at, where previously I thought they only served Peroni, but it turns out they also serve bottled ale for like £1.50, £2 a bottle or something.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so I had a couple of Badgers myself, Thirsty Ferret and Tanglefoot. And then I got a Whitstable Bay Organic Ale from Shepherd Neame.
Oh, yes, I've had that.
It was quite nice. Mind you, yeah. I'd had 2 bottles in the space of just over an hour by that point, so I'm lucky I could even remember the name enough to tap it in. My notes for that, which I entered the next day, may I add, were very rounded, bitter ripe fruit taste, and nicely bitter but not bitingly so hops. If you get me.
Yeah, I think from trying to remember back to when I've had that, it's been a while since I've had it, but it always gave me the impression of straw. The sort of aroma and I was going to say taste of straw, but I don't eat straw. But certainly the aroma of straw. don't know why that's come to me now.
Yeah, it was quite like a nice country taste to it.
Yeah, earthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other beer I had was the one that was my personal assignment as well, which was the sparkling ale from Cooper's, which we'll get to in just a little bit.
Very jealous about. Because I have not been able to find it.
We've had a few bits and pieces come in via the Facebooks and via the Twitters. Facebook, which you can find us at facebook.com/beeroclockshow. Come and share your photos. We had number one fan Anthony Statham post a photo of his beer haul up on there, and we've had a few other tiny conversations going back and forth. We've had some comments via Twitter. Stuart Miller from up in Edinburgh was going back and forth with you, Steve, on some various beers that he's picked up.
Yes. We were mainly discussing the Williams Brothers Brewery beers, which it's obviously a Scottish brewery, so you must be able to get hold of them more readily available in Scotland than you can down here. And it was just because I made it to I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It's either Uto beer or Uto beer. It's like an independent beer stall in Borough Market, and you can buy basically the beers that we would like to do on the show from Uto beer.
Borough Market, as in London.
Yeah, as in London, near London Bridge. So I was in there and I picked up a William Brothers 7 Giraffes, but they had quite the range of William Brothers Brewery beers. But I was kind of between meetings for work and I only really had space in my bag for 2 bottles. So so we were exchanging some comments on the William Brothers brand and the different styles and types of beers that we've tried from that brand.
Cool. And we also had some tweets from our mate Andy, who was stuck on a train this afternoon. God bless you, Andy. He was basically commenting on the Innocent Gun, because I've been threatening him to give him some bottles that I've been given of Innocent Gun. He likes it, but it's too sweet for him, he says. I suppose some of the Innocent Gun have a high sugar content, I'm not sure.
Probably naturally.
Yeah, and he's diabetic, so he can't have that kind of thing. Which is a shame, so I won't bring him any bottles in case I kill him. That wouldn't go down well with the missus.
No, I don't think it would.
And that's really been it on the Twitter. Oh, my brother Nudju was tweeting us about he hasn't had a beer in 7 years. Why he's listening to the show, I don't know.
I was amazed that he started following us.
Yeah, he's a good
involved
supporter.
in the discussion.
Yeah. The best Guinness I've had was my first in Lyon in France, he says. He says that just so we know that he's been to Lyon in France. I don't see any other reason for him.
I somehow doubt that it was the best Guinness. It might be the best Guinness he's ever had.
Yeah, I think it's the only Guinness he's ever had.
Yeah, I was going to say it's unlikely that it's as good as you can get it from, say, like Dublin or something like that.
Yeah, I agree on that score. We've got a little special thing coming up in a few weeks, which we'll just mention briefly now and a little bit more in the next couple of weeks. Steve, myself, and our mate Andy are getting together for a pub tour. It's a private pub tour that we've had booked via a chap called Vic Norman, who runs Dragon and Flagon pub tours. It's going to be a little bit of a special episode if we remember to record anything on the day. It's basically going to be a gussied up pub crawl, really.
Yeah, I think he's going to be taking us to a few pubs with character.
Yeah.
And he's going to be telling us things about the pubs while we enjoy some good ales as we go around.
Yeah.
So certainly looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. A bit more on that as we get closer to the day. That's in November. But let's skip right ahead to our weekly assignments from last week. For Steve, it was Barry Island IPA, and for myself, it was the Cooper's Sparkling Ale. Now, Steve, Barry Island IPA, you've had a few of them. This is the one you won a case of.
I did, yeah. 18 bottles.
Yeah, now let's do, finally, instead of you just drooling about it over Twitter, give us your formal review, mate.
Okay. I've done... I had a long, hard think about my reviews over the last couple of weeks and realised that they clearly weren't good enough because they were only 2 or 3 words. So I actually really focused on doing a decent review for this one, so you might need to bear with me here. So first of all, I kind of looked at it coming out of the bottle. Straight away, it pours beautifully, a really nice light carbonation, pours with quite a nice head on it. A beautifully dark golden colour and a lovely citrusy aroma. In terms of the taste, what you get straight away is you get real strong hops and a lovely spicy flavour, and that spicy flavour lingers as well, so it lingers on the aftertaste, it lingers on the palate. I found it very, it's a very refreshing beer as well, despite its hoppiness and its strength, because it's up there at about 6%, I think. It's very deep in flavours and lots of character to it. So in summary, I would say nicely hopped, well-rounded, a tasty beer, 5 stars.
Wow. I'm looking forward to getting one of those.
Yes, I'll be bringing you one in a few weeks, mate.
My weekly assignment was the Cooper's Sparkling Ale. Now, I'd seen this reviewed on a YouTube channel, so I knew what to be prepared for, just how active it is, because it's bottle conditioned. And so when I poured it out, I made sure to leave something left over in the bottle, and I'm glad I did, and I'll come to that at the end. But it pours out really highly active. I mean, it is bubbling. The carbonation is intense. And I'm just sitting there watching it in the glass, and the bubbles. It is like looking at a beer champagne. But, I mean, the carbonation isn't there when you taste it. It's not fizzing in your mouth. But you can see it bubbling in the water, or in the liquid of the beer. It's just amazing to look at, and it's really nice, kind of like a sunshine golden colour to it. But it looks cloudy because of how carbonated and how active it is. Taste-wise, really smooth, probably thanks to how carbonated it is. The hops are really sharp and really crisp fruitiness to it as well. As in the kind of fruitiness that you and I like, Steve, not the really intense sweet fruitiness, but that nice, sharp, slightly bitter citrus fruitiness. It was really nice. So I finished the glass quite easily, and then I had some left over in the bottle, so I poured that into the glass, and it was like sediment coming out of the bottle. So it was like all the yeasty sediment and stuff from it being bottle conditioned. It was amazing how much was in there. I mean, I poured it out, and it was like dark brown, the sediment left over. So I'm glad I didn't pour the entire thing out, because the review that I saw on YouTube, he poured the entire thing into a glass and was complaining about the cloudiness and the dirtiness of it. And someone in the comments said, "Yeah, it's bottle conditioned, mate. You're not supposed to pour the whole thing out." You should have known this.
Always helps to read the label.
So, yeah, I don't actually think it says that on the bottle. I'll have to, when I get another bottle, I'll have to double check. But thankfully, I had seen that review, so I knew what to expect. So for a moment, I considered myself a bit of a beer expert. But yeah, I would give that probably 4 out of 5. That one.
It sounds amazing. I'm so jealous. I need to get my hands on a bottle of it.
Yeah, I will hunt one down for you, buddy.
Brilliant.
But I think you'll appreciate the taste, and I think you'll appreciate the pour and seeing it bubbling away.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Oh, yeah, that was lovely. So that's our weekly assignments, and on to this week's featured beer, which is the Brewdog Punk IPA. It is a, how many percent? I can't find. 5.6% ABV. And they say on their label, and I was going to do this in my very authentic Scottish accent, but I won't, that it is not a lowest common denominator beer. This is an assertive beer, and we don't care if you don't like it. That's what the label says. They kind of market themselves as being a no bullshit brewery, trying to be somewhat rebellious, but yeah, you sell your product in Sainsbury's, so you can't be that rebellious. Sorry.
I don't think we should really be attacking them before we've even started.
We shouldn't. I'm sorry. It's my Australianism coming out when people kind of put on a front. It's my job to knock them down. But no, I apologise, Brewdog. Please don't hunt me down. You're from Scotland. Okay, so let's crack this open and see what it's like. Now, I did have one of these way back when we first started recording. But it's been a wee while now, so I'll see if my tastes have become accustomed.
It's fizzing away.
Whoa, I've got a huge head on mine.
Yeah, it's quite. There's a lot of carbonation there.
That is
it's
quite
like
a
it's
fizzy
been
beer.
Screaming to be let out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the angst that's in there that they're leading us to believe it has.
A nice light golden colour.
Yep, very light. Almost. I don't know about you, but it's almost cloudy, a little cloudy. Not so that you can't see through it, but certainly a haze to it.
Yeah. Like a gentle fogginess.
Yep.
Like an Edinburgh fog.
Yes.
I got
very, very hoppy.
I got about a 3-finger head on mine.
Brilliant. All you're going to taste is foam for the first couple of sips then. Right, let's get into this and see what it's like.
Quite a nice smell to it.
That's actually not too bad.
It's very hoppy, isn't it?
It's very hoppy. There's very little of anything else, flavour-wise.
Yeah, the scent, the aroma of it when you're just smelling it from the glass, very, well, I won't say very, but quite fruity smell to it. But it's not there on the taste, which is, confusing, isn't it?
It's almost, it's overpowered by the aroma. Because they say you kind of taste with all your senses, don't they? And I just think that you get that initial hit of fruity hops, and you expect that to follow through in the flavour, and it's just not there. No, I'm getting nothing at the moment.
Yeah,
I'm not even getting an aftertaste.
I'm getting the hops are lingering, but there isn't much else to it on the back end, is there?
No, it's let's give it another go before I pass judgment. I'm getting a little something there. Maybe it's just where my tongue's beginning to warm to the flavour. But I'm not getting a lot. Not getting a lot from that. Quite a bitter aftertaste actually coming through now.
The funny thing is, while I'm drinking it, I can smell something, but it's not there in the taste.
Yeah, you would expect it to be there, wouldn't you?
At least some hint to it, but it seems to be like it's a beer of two halves almost. There's the aroma of it, but that's completely separate to what you're actually tasting.
Yeah.
Very weird. I mean, it's not undrinkable. I think it's nice. Now, we haven't had very many IPAs as main features on the show. I think we've had Green King IPA. What other ones have we had?
Let's not go there. Let's not ever mention Green King again.
We've had IPA. What other IPAs have we had on the show?
We did the Bengal Lancer, which is an IPA.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have IPA in the name, I tend to not know. Oh, that's right. That's their version of an IPA, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think they're the only two that we've actually reviewed on the show. We've spoken quite a lot about IPAs and the tradition of IPA.
Yeah.
But we've never actually done too many of them.
Now, apparently,
go on.
it's going to say, according to the label, we apparently don't have the taste or sophistication to appreciate the depth, character, and quality of this premium crafted brew beer.
Oh, okay.
So that, you know.
Well, could I suggest that maybe put some flavour in it and we'd be able to taste it.
And it goes on to finish saying, just go back to drinking your mass-marketed, bland, cheaply made, watered-down lager and close the door behind ye. So I'll take those words to heart, Mr. Dog.
Yeah, I don't think we were that taken, were we, when we visited their bar in Camden a few weeks ago?
No, I did say that the beer we had was crap.
Yeah, you didn't like it, did you? You didn't like it at all.
No. See, I think part of that problem is the perception they give over, especially with that bar in Camden. It's full of your typical hipster wanker, if I can use those words.
Yeah.
Which shouldn't really be a reflection on Brewdog, but rather than the clientele they attract in Camden of all places, which is the mecca for hipsters. And it also didn't help that my wife was standing there with a miserable look on her face, because if there's one thing she can't stand is hipsters.
I think we had that chat, didn't we? And you know, whereas some of the other craft beer establishments in London don't necessarily attract that pretentious sort of I must be seen in that bar because it's hip and trendy type clientele. That was the instant feel that I got for that Brewdog bar. You know, the first sign was the fact that there was a security guard on the door at, like, what was it, 5:30, 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
It was like, really? Okay. You know, so yeah.
On a Friday.
Yeah, on a Friday.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, there's obviously they've styled themselves in a way that they, you know, as I say, quite angsty, quite, you know, we're going to do what we want and we don't really care. But that being said, I mean, it's a drinkable beer. It's certainly easy to drink, but it's not one that I'd keep going back to because it's just not got the depth of flavour that I'm looking for in a beer.
Yep.
It's all smell, no taste.
Yeah, I'm looking at my previous tap in for this on Untapped, and I gave it a 3 bottle cap out of 5. Then I think I would stick with that.
I'd agree. I would say it's a 3. It's certainly no higher than a 3, in my opinion. It's quite a bland beer. It's you know, IPAs are if you excuse the obvious Green King IPA, that's not really an IPA, but IPAs are supposed to be quite flavoursome, and they're supposed to be quite full of flavour and hoppy and lots of character in there, and this just hasn't. It seems as though all the character's gone into the bottle design rather than into the beer.
Yeah, or gone into the marketing message.
Yeah.
Or the anti-marketing message, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
probably dig a bit deeper and find that Brewdog's probably owned by Iron Brew or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, to be completely fair, it's not undrinkable.
No, it's putting all of the preconceptions to one side about the brand. You know, if you were presented with that as a pint or a half pint, it's quite an easy drinkable beer. But as I say, it's just there's just not a lot to it.
There's also something to it. Once you get past the hops, I'm not sure what the taste is.
Lemon. It's lemony, I think, in my opinion.
but it's just something that would turn me off from having another one, I think. I mean, being honest again, IPAs are probably not my preferred drink, mainly because I don't like the heavy hoppiness all the time. I like things to be not so clenching on the palate like some of the heavily hopped beers can be. But saying that, the few IPAs that I have had have generally been okay, apart from IPA.
Yeah. It's certainly very hoppy on the belch.
Oh,
we spoke about that previously, the belch factor. When it comes back up, the hops are there. So the hops are apparent in the smell, and that they're apparent in the wind that's created from drinking the product, but they seem to have disappeared in the actual product itself. It's like the case of the magically disappearing hops.
Yeah, it's a funny one, this one. Yeah, I think I'll stick to my 3 out of 5 for this.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going any higher than a 3.
Yeah. Now, if anyone's wondering why this review is shorter than normal, the Punk IPA comes in a smaller bottle. It's 330ml. Same size as the Innocent Gun ones, but the Innocent Gun ones have a bit more to them that need to be discussed.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Brewdog Punk IPA, I've still got a bottle of this left. Because when I found this in Sainsbury's months ago, I had heard of it, so I excitedly bought 3 bottles, which is all they had left. And as I'm walking out of the shop, I'm texting Steve saying, "Guess what I found? It's Punk IPA." And he basically came back and said, "Yeah, I believe it tastes like piss." Which, to be fair, it does not taste the piss.
It doesn't taste the piss, and I was quite apprehensive about drinking it because I drank it a couple of years ago and I really didn't enjoy it. And I'm pleasantly surprised that it's not as bad as I remember. I've also drunk they've got one called 5am Saint, which comes similar sort of bottle but a red label.
Mm-hmm.
That was awful. That was truly awful. I wouldn't try that again if my life depended on it.
Yeah, I think Brewdog are going to be one of those breweries I'm going to give a miss to, because after the Dead Pony Club, which was diabolical in my mind, and after this one, which is underwhelming, then Brewdog are not a brewery that I think I'll be revisiting through choice.
No, I certainly wouldn't rush to drink the Brewdog beers again.
Anyway, enough Brewdog slating.
Yeah.
That wraps up this week's review of Brewdog IPA. Next week, very special episode. Being that it's Halloween. Ooh. Not episode 13, although unfortunately timed.
Oh, that would have been too good to have been true, wouldn't it?
If I hadn't missed out of the week because I was ill, it would have been episode 13 without planning at all. That would have been quite cool.
Yes.
So it's going to be a Halloween episode next week, with our featured beer being Hobgoblin from the Whitewood Brewery.
Which is the unofficial beer of Halloween.
Which is yeah, exactly. And the one I've got is, I think it has pumpkins on the label.
Yep, I'd made sure I bought the special pumpkin labelled one as well.
Very good. But
you also had to.
Yeah, you have to. But we're also carrying the Halloween theme over into our personal assignments for the week. Steve, what is your personal assignment for next week?
Unsurprisingly, I'm going to be doing Adnam's Ghost Ship.
Cheats!
Why is that cheating?
You can't personally review your favourite ever beer, but I'll let it slide this time.
I will try and give it an impartial review and try and base it on the flavours rather than the fact that it is one of my favourite beers of all time.
Well, I'm going with a beer that I've can't even remember buying, but it was on my pub shelf. It's another Whitewood beer, and this is the Special Reserve King Goblin.
Oh, big beer.
Which is 6.6%. An extraordinary beer of exceptional quality. Only ever brewed under a full lunar moon. with crystal malt and sovereign hops. I may live to regret getting this, considering it's 3.3 UK units. So really, I should only drink one of these.
I can't believe you're doing that.
Have you had this one before?
I think I've had it once, and I think I remember it being like a turbocharged hobgoblin.
Oh, because the other one I've got is the Witchcraft, which is their blonde beer.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I could have that one, but if I have this one, Steve will be really impressed.
I am incredibly impressed. If you make it all the way through the bottle, I'll be even more impressed.
Yeah, now my wife is working on Saturday, but I'm going to wait until she gets home in case she needs to call emergency services. But I'm so attracted to these bottles, the labels on the Hobgoblin stuff, on the Witchwood stuff. Just brilliant.
Yeah, they're brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are absolutely brilliant.
So I shall be taking a photo of this bottle with the glass and my hospital admittance slip on Saturday night. So have a look for that on the Twitters and on the Facebooks. Right, that's it. I don't think we have anything to add. Steve, do you have anything you want to add?
I don't think I do this week, no.
No. If you want to be involved in our regional review panel, which is basically friends of the show or newcomers to the show from around the country, recording your own personal beer reviews or suggestions or whatever, and sending them into the show. Now you can either record it on your phone and send it to us as an MP3 to our email address, which is beeroclockshow@gmail.com. Or if you're the talkative type and you fancy coming in and doing a review with us in the studio, so to speak, either send us a private message on Twitter, where we are at beeroclockshow, or email beeroclockshow@gmail.com. We're reaching out to the audience. We've got a few people lined up, but we want to have more. So it's not going to be a super regular thing, maybe once a month. As far as the special guests go, we do want to get regular sound clips in from people. So yeah, that's our regional review panel. So get in touch if you're interested. Be really cool. Anything you want to add about that, Steve?
No, I'm sitting here realising you can't see me with my thumbs up. Maybe the Punk IPA has got the better of me. No, yeah, just to echo what you said there, Mark. Really, it's let's try and cast the net a little bit wider, and rather than people just listening to you and I every week, let's have some other contributions. So. Certainly, it's something we want to explore over coming weeks and months. So don't be shy. Record your stuff and send it in to us.
Indeedy. So join us next week for our special Halloween episode. It'll be out next Friday, just in time for Halloween weekend, which I don't think is actually Halloween, is it?
No, Halloween's on the Wednesday.
Yeah, it's a silly day for Halloween.
Our whole premise is beer o'clock on the weekend, so
yeah.
You can either have the Halloween special before or after Halloween. If we did it after, it would be episode 13.
It would be.
Let's do it. Let's do it next week, and we'll put it out before.
Yeah.
Because the weekend after we'll get all caught up in fireworks night and all the rest of it, and it'll be lost.
Yeah.
Do it before.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So that's us next week. With
Get your Halloween special beers in as well. There's quite a few out there at the moment, so we'd like to hear from what people are drinking with a Halloween theme over the next couple of weeks.
Oh, did you hear that Barack Obama is brewing his own beer in the White House?
Is he really?
Yeah, he's putting one. I think it's ready for bottling actually, because he's a bit of an ale drinker apparently.
Nice.
So that's interesting. Yeah.
Maybe we can get him on the show.
Maybe. Hey, it's election season. He wants to get that UK vote, I'm sure.
Is he on Twitter? Maybe we can tweet him. Say, dear Barry, can you fancy coming in on the show?
Yeah, Barry Obama IPA.
Yes. Nice.
Alrighty.
See what you did there.
Yeah, I'm clever. Okay, mate, that's it from me this week. Thanks as always for joining me, Steve.
No worries, anytime. Speak to you soon.
See you later.
Bye-bye.